Going, here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing that whether if you've come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's play together. Come love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you. If there's some kind of trouble or pain you're going through, know that you are not alone and someone cares for you. As an individualization of divine point of view, this door is open. Oh, this door is open. This door right here is open for you. This door is open. Oh, this door. I'm talking about this door. I said this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white or gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you.
Good morning, everyone. It is so good to have you with us this morning. Whether you are live in the room, rocking out to Eddie Watkins Jr., this door is open and saying hello to one another, or whether you are joining us online as we go live on Facebook and on YouTube and all the places that you get your streaming, we say welcome. We know there's a lot of places you could be at this time, and I am so glad that you are here. I also know that you are ready to be inspired today. And so I am going to turn it over to Donna so she can tell you what's going on at CSL Visalia.
Good morning, everybody. We're so excited to have you here. We had the most exciting, fun time last night. How many of you were here? All right, a good portion of you. We had karaoke last night, and it was so much fun. I don't think I'd ever been to karaoke. And I thought, oh, this is going to be like not good singers. The singers, most of them were amazing. And the sound system that Misty had, let's show the first slide. So Misty was our host, and she has this wonderful equipment that made everybody sound super. So here's Misty getting her lineup ready for the singing. And next we have, there's Dale. Dale sang a Willie Nelson, and I was in the back, and I thought it was Willie Nelson. It was amazing. Next we have, so Mikey, we hadn't seen in ages. This is Cece's son. Those of you who remember Cece, and he was great too. He was a little more animated. And then keep going. We had all kinds of people. This gal, I guess she just saw the flyer and came in, and she was darling. She had just gotten this dress apparently from across the street. It was great. And then we had Larry, right? Larry. So Larry's not here today. Darn, he's been here a lot on Sunday, but he was singing. And then we had Dave with his puppet. Yeah, so we had different kinds of entertainment. Next. Then they started getting more animated. This guy, Adam, was so wonderful. Oh my gosh, he was so wonderful. Anna's not here either, but Anna's son, and Gwen is asking him to be our special music sometime because he was so wonderful. And then we went to then they really started getting animated. Some of them were jumping around, playing the guitar. They were having so much fun, and they sounded so good. And then we have Misty and Otis. Otis was great too. Oh my gosh. And then finally we have we got some groups together. There's Donna and Lori and Bev. So they were singing away. We had great food. There's food left over, so enjoy our leftovers because they were great food. And so it was so good. It was so easy to do. So we'll do it again. So I hope more people will be there. So let's go to the regular announcements. Today is the Leadership Council or the board meeting. People are always welcome to come in. The link is on our webpage. It'll be right after service. And we have the last class of our Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. We met yesterday. We learned all about our relationships. It was a very interesting class. Yeah, we have one more class. And I think the last class will be that, whoops, let's go back. The last will be the last bullet here. Learn levels of consciousness to see if life happens to you or if you are affecting the change. So even if you haven't registered, the link is right on our website. It'll go to the main page, the home page, go down to class, find the Zoom link, and you can come on in Saturday on Zoom, 8:30, our last class. I think we've had some great discussions and great conversations, so you're all welcome to come in. Then we have a new class starting June 2nd. 8 Monday nights, again on Zoom. And this is a class that Reverend Jack is doing through Heart and Soul and also to us. He's joining all his groups together. This is the Principles of Financial Freedom. Again, it's free. There are flyers on the back to give you that link so you can get in on it starting June 2nd. So it'll be 8 Monday nights at 6 p.m. I hope you'll enjoy it. It's that's one of our topics here. What you think about is what comes to you, and so this is what it's going to be. You can get financial freedom, and he adds in times like this. And Juneteenth is coming up. We've had 2 Juneteenths here in the last 2 years, and they've been really wonderful. This year, we found out that the city of Visalia is having their first Juneteenth, so we're collaborating with them. It'll be on June 19th, 4:30 to 7 at the Whitendale Community Center, which is not on Whitendale. You have to Google it to find it. It's a nice little community center and place, and we're going to have all kinds of wonderful things. So Tino is here. He's going to do the opening, as he always does, the Native American opening. Buddy will be there drumming. We're going to have music, dancing, kids activities. I think the city planned for kids activities, and we went in and said, here's what we've done in the past. Let's add that, and they love the idea. We'll have food trucks. They'll have a healing circle at the end. And we're going to show this Edmund Weisinger story again that we showed a couple years ago here. Who knows who Edward Weisinger is? We have 4 people. He was a Visalian, Black man. He wanted his son to go to the white school, not that crummy old falling apart Black school out in the conduct. So he started a suit. He lost the first court case, then he went to California and he won. So Visalian was the man who integrated schools in California. And then that case went to Brown and Education and was cited when the whole country desegregated schools. So it's really exciting for that person to have been a Visalian. And so we'll do a little slideshow on him. So I hope you'll come. There'll be fun, be food, be interesting, and you'll learn a little bit about Black history. And our baby contest is about to start. Now, this is last year's babies. We need some babies this year, either children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, dogs, cats. The first year, we had nothing but dogs. last year, we had a couple of kids and we had a cat. So your baby can be whatever it wants to be, but it's our fundraising and fundraising. So what you do if you enter your baby, then you come up with some fundraising activities. Lots of times there's food here and people pay, and then that money goes into your pot for your baby, and whoever raises the most money by the end of August is our mascot for the rest of the year. And if you've been noticing on our newsletter, Coco is always on there. Coco is our current mascot, and he's always welcoming you to what's going on for the next month. So be thinking about it. We'll keep telling you about it because we want to start this in June. It's only a couple of Sundays from now. So tell Gwen or tell me if you want to enter your baby, and we'll get started on it. And one more. Remember, I've been telling you about this. What is the real story about the crucifixion and the resurrection? We've got a bunch of books on the back table. I hope some of you will take some of them because the stories aren't always what's in the Bible. You know, the Bible was a collection of interesting stories, not always true. And so this is going to be our discussion on Sunday, June 1st for explorers. And we want to have various people reading books or just reading little sections of these books, talking about what they are learning about the resurrection, and that'll be our conversation. We invite you all to be part of it. Whoops, we've got a question. So Carol's reminding me there is a list of books back here. If you borrow a book, put your name, because these are all Evelyn's books and she wants them back eventually. So if you take one of the books, please do, just take one and write your name on the list that you've taken it, and then be part of our discussion after church on Sunday, June 1st. So I will turn it over to our host, Gwen.
Thank you, Donna. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here, and welcome again to Center for Spiritual Living in Visalia. My name is Gwen Valentine, and I currently serve as the Leadership Council President. So we're going to start this morning with our mission statement, which will be up on the board. I ask that you all please recite this with me. Center for Spiritual Living Visalia is the place everyone comes together, connecting in love and learning how to create abundant, joyful, and peaceful lives. We're going to go to our first song this morning. We have our beautiful Hope and her lovely daughter Dawn with us, with their accompaniment with Kevin, and they're going to do It's a Beautiful Morning.
It's a beautiful morning. I'll go outside for a while. Just smile. Let's take some fresh air. No sense in staying inside. Weather's fine. Got the
for that. That's a wonderful way to start our day. It is a beautiful day here in Visalia. It's not too hot. This is a great day to get out and enjoy your afternoon doing things and activities outside if you choose to, because it's a beautiful morning. So we will go next into our Science of Mind. So as we know, in Science of Mind, there are 14 statements. In each month, we like to look at one. So we're going to put up the one that we have for this month, and I ask that you all please recite it. We believe in the incarnation of the Spirit in man, and that all men are incarnations of the one Spirit. Thank you. Oh, guess I got to keep going. So next, we're actually going to prepare for our diversity quote. Today, we have Tino Reyes with us, and he's part of our diversity and inclusivity team. So we're going to go right into that, and he's going to come up and bless us with an offering.
Leos M. Chanyavu. My father's father's Yaki, and we are the flower people. Be sharing today on generational and intergenerational traumas. So I wrote a poem about breaking those cycles. It's called Boys Don't Cry. Boys don't cry. My great grandfather, beaten worse for crying in Indian residential schools, told his son, told my father, told me, quit crying or I'll really give you something to cry about. As if not allowed anymore. Because when we do are called weak or girlish. Women attempt suicide 3 times more than men, yet men go through with it at 3 times a higher rate. For boys who don't cry become men who don't cry. This is why we talk less. It's what stops us from expressing our feelings. Ticking time bombs of bottled rage, toxic masculinity who explode outward like the shrapnel of a grenade, like gangs, gay bashing, domestic violence turned into killing machines, war and mass shootings. And inward drinking to kill feelings until we kill ourselves. Girls are told, be polite or be quiet. And carry their suffering in silence. For when a woman attempts suicide, it was a cry for the pain to stop. But when my cousin committed suicide, it was the pent-up war cry of all his boyhood, all his teenhood, and the last of his manhood boiled over like a volcano who was told not to erupt. But mountain caps can only take so much. So when my son cried and I automatically replied, stop crying, he innocently looked up and asked, Dad, but why? I began to explain, because boys don't cry, but then I caught myself, stopped myself, pulled him in, hugged him, and said, son, it's okay, let it out. He cried and exhaled, and in the wake of an eruption, his volcano breathed out smoke instead of self-destruction. He sighed in relief, and we bonded for the first time in a while. So please, the next time your son or daughter, child, teen, or adult is crying, Pull them in, hold them close. Break those cycles. Tell them, let it out. And then catch those tears with love. Thank you. If you can get the slide, please. All right, so we found this slide and I thought it very appropriate for today's diversity quotes on trauma. And it says, some of us are here to be the change makers in our family system. We are here to end generational trauma and start passing down love instead of pain. Thank you. So with that, I want to close with a very short song. It is Spirit Rejuvenation, but we're already Spirit, so it's just Rejuvenation. It's a Northern California coastal song, I think Pimo or Miwok. It was given to me up there for the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women's Run. The two sounds are Oesha and Shania, and the two just repeat back and forth. Oesha, 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 Shania, 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 Oesha, 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 Shania, 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 Oesha, 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 Shania, 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 Oesha, 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 Shania, 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 Oesha. Oh, Mateo, Tatsukamati, thank you.
Well, thank you again, Tino. That was beautiful. I loved it. I hope everybody else did as well. Thank you. We're going to go into our work with me here. We're going to go into our congregational song. So if you feel like standing, please do. The song for today is God is My Source. Okay, communion is like, no.
God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Let's do that again. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. How about love? Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything Joy is my source. Joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. Peace. Peace is my source. Peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. One more time. God gives me everything I need.
God gives me everything I need. Wow. I think we could almost put a bow on this morning and call our lesson good and done. I thank you, my beloved brother, for that wonderful, wonderful talk for our DEI opportunity. Thank you for the music that has already come forth this morning. I am just standing in a place of gratitude, a place of gratitude where we are a community committed and willing to do the work to understand how our life got to be the way that it is. And as we begin, I just want to take a moment and have us get grounded in this understanding of being open at the top, being open to receive the divinely inspired message that each and every one of us are being called to receive today. And what I want you to know above all else, you're ready to receive the message. You are ready and capable of filtering out that message and understanding what is yours to do with it. And so I say thank you, thank you, thank you for being willing to be ready. Thank you for being willing to be, what I dare say, a little uncomfortable and understand what is ours to work out in a time like this. You know, I'm going to ask if they'll put the question up on the screen for just a moment again that we're taking a look at this week. And I'm going to paraphrase it by saying that this is our opportunity to see that continued influence of what some of our heirs of the past are still having an effect, that are still playing out in the generation that we are raising up. And sometimes when we do that, we want to placate the history and go, yeah, well, that was in the past and that happened and we're not doing that anymore. But that isn't so. That is not so. And the scientists are proving that out, that what happened to our ancestors is still encoded within our very DNA. And so therefore we have those little triggering points within us to do certain things in our humanness that if we don't take control over it, if we don't execute our intelligence and our higher level of thinking, they will happen again. And I know it plays out. And I know that we can go through our communities and not want to see what is right there in front of us, to see where we are separating ourselves from the other, and we're telling different stories about the other, whatever that other might be. And we gotta stop that. We are called to see it a different way. And one of those ways that I want to talk about today, and it was lifted up a little bit earlier, in this whole idea of corporal punishment. Now, I remember the day in my life when I chose emancipation over corporal punishment in my life. And to think about it, what I want you to know in telling my story is not because I want to lift up my story of what happened to me, but I want to lift up the story of how I transcended this little episode of what happened to me in my life. And it helped me to have a greater insight to some other things that are happening in the world. But, you know, I remember the very first time that I was taken to the barber shop to have my hair cut, and I did not want to go. I perceived that, for whatever reason, to be a very fearful thing. And my mother put one of those small paddles. When we were kids, many of us had this little paddle thing that had a string on it, and you would hit a little ball and you would be bouncing it like that. But when it broke, that little paddle became a paddle to be spanked with, a paddle to be disciplined with. And so whenever we would go out in public, all my mom would have to do was point to her purse, and I knew to change my behavior because that paddle was in that purse. Well, in my life, that paddle was all that happened in public. In private, it was the belt. And in our mudroom in our house, there were 3 or 4 different belts that would be hanging on a hook, you know, from my elder brother or my stepfather, or, you know, I don't even know where these belts came from, but there was never a time when there wasn't 6 or 7 belts hanging in that little broom closet in the mudroom. And depending upon the severity of whatever I had done or whatever was wrong, I had to go select the belt that it would be used to whip me with in order to get back into how I was to be an obedient child. Now, I have to say, it taught me at an early age to read the room. It taught me at an early age to hold my tongue and not speak up. It taught me at an early age to be obedient, not out of love, but to be obedient out of being fearful of being whipped. And I remember oftentimes that whatever it is that I would have done in a particular moment, if I would have broken an heirloom or did something egregious or told a lie or whatever it might have been, that oftentimes that the rage was high enough, I wasn't even invited to go get the belt, but my mom would go and get the belt herself. And then it would be a circular chase around the house with her whipping that belt and hitting me with that belt until I fell to my knees in a humble expression of, I'm sorry. Then one day, when I was 12, 13 years of age, I remember being chased around the circular area. There was a place in our house where you could go from the kitchen to the living room to the dining room and make a circle through a hallway, and it would be a circle. And I stopped and I took And I yanked the belt from my mother's hands and said, "You will never hit me again." And she fell to her knees sobbing. And when we had the conversation about what had transpired, she was in such rage that she did not realize that she was actually hitting me. She thought she was only threatening me with the belt, and never did it ever strike me in her mind. Now, I didn't understand that as an adolescent. I didn't understand that until I was way into my adulthood. And I got to take a look at that first family dynamic in my family of how did our life get to be the way that it is? And I got to work. I was studying psychology at John F. Kennedy University, going for my MFT. And I was really dwelling into some of these childhood traumas and these dynamics. And the good news is, my mom was of an age at that time, about the age that I am now, where I could have a conversation with her, not about what she did to me, but I got to ask her the question, what had happened to her? I realized that I really had no notion of what my mother's childhood was like. All that I knew about my grandparents on my mother's side is that they had died when my mother was very young. And she would still honor them and lift them up as her parents. And we would go on Memorial Day to visit their gravesite and put flowers on their grave, because she did not want anyone to think that she did not lift up her parents as respected elders. And then one day, as we were driving back, I said, "Your mother died when you were 12 years of age," because I was adding the math up from the dates on the tombstone. And I realized that, that my mom was born in 1913. And when I looked on the tombstone, I saw that her mother had died in 1923. And I thought, wow, you were only 12. And she said, yes. And that got into a discussion of her father. And I asked her, well, how did he cope with the loss of his wife and your mom? What was that like? And what came out unedited is that was the darkest year of my life. And I go, what do you mean it was the darkest year of your life? On the day of my grandmother's burial, my mother had her first period. When she asked her father what was happening to her body, because she did not understand what was happening, he turned her to her and said, "That is God punishing you for killing your mother. You must have been a bad little girl, or God wouldn't have taken your mother from us." And he continued for the next 2 years to whip her and punish her for the death of his wife. To where by the time that she was 15 years of age, she left home. And she went to live with a friend of a friend because of the abuse and the trauma that was put upon her by her own father, who was working out his grief. And one of the things that I went on to learn in this department of psychology and these classes that I was taking, that oftentimes in life, human beings will act out trauma on someone else on a intention for understanding the trauma that happened to them. They're trying their best to work out the trauma. So I say all this not because I want to talk about my mother. No, I want to talk about how we've got to get into these trauma cycles in order to break the trauma. And we've got to look at what is going on when we want to reverse the history of the trauma and to find out a little bit more about, okay, why are we trying to erase that history rather than work out that history? We got to work it out. We got to talk about it. We've got to find that common ground of understanding. And I could see in my own family dynamic that if we pretended it did not exist, then we were destined to repeat it. Now, that's also happening in our society. I want you to think a moment about the Statue of Liberty that's in the New York Harbor. Bring that image of the Statue of Liberty to your mind right now, if you can. If you can think about what the Statue of Liberty looks like, you know that in one level, she's holding up the torch, and on the other level, she's holding up a book. Do you know that the mere fact that that book is in her hand is revisionist history? When the Statue of Liberty was designed, when it was gifted to us by the country of France, it was gifted to us because we won the Civil War, because we were a nation that proclaimed to be for equality. In the original design of the Statue of Liberty, instead of a book, it was a broken chain. A broken chain to represent the shadows of slavery had been broken. And then the folks in power came around and said, oh no, we can't do that. We can't have that. And there was a battle, there was a debate, there was a compromise. So now, if you go and visit the Statue of Liberty, and if you were really to look at the Statue of Liberty, the chains that were once held in the hand of the Statue of Liberty are on the ground at her feet, and the book is lifted up. And the revisionist history continues even with that. When you go on the tour, you're not told about the chains, but if someone is perceptive enough to go, oh, why are there chains down here? Then they will tell you the history of the chains and how they came to be there. But we don't bring it up. We don't want to talk about that history. We don't want to talk about that past. We want to make it easier for the next generation. We want to not lift it up so that we don't have to discuss it, that we don't have to talk about our sins. We don't want to talk about what we did to other human beings. So when the rebellious child asks the question, help me to understand why in the late 1500s, there were over 150 million natives on this continent. But by the late 1700s, there were only 12 million. What happened? Who did what to who? Where did that come from? What is the great sin of colonialism? What is the great sin of building an empire at the cost of the other, whatever the other is? What is it that we are unwilling to look at how we have evolved as humankind and the decisions that we made, and how is that trauma continuing? If we look at it, we still know that when Jim Crow came along, we went from slavery to shared property. Just another name for the same thing. Yeah, a few folks broke out around the edges and did things differently. And yes, there was, there was change there, but we worked to call it another thing. We worked to figure out another way to do it. And so we birthed this thing called the police in order to bring people back into our control. And then we continued it on by building our cities and putting cross-town freeways right through town, telling the story that it was to move people quickly and to get them from point A to point B. But in reality, it was to cut off neighborhoods. It was to separate, to create a divide from us to them. And then when some progression started to happen and things were starting to balance out just a little bit, and people of color were starting to move into the very neighborhoods that our grandparents and parents lived in, oh, they got scared. And so they moved out and they moved to the suburbs because of who was moving in. Now, when they moved to the suburbs, they just didn't move to the suburbs. They moved to what they called gated communities, which was a wink and a nod to say, this is going to be a white neighborhood. So we got to start telling the truth about the words that we're saying and how some things came to be as we work out this trauma. And working out this trauma means that we are taking dominion over to the trauma that says, this ends with me, no more. And so when we see it, we got to call it out. We got to call it out and go, is that what you really mean when you say what it is that you say? When you look at what's happening in our country right now, and this whole idea of some people don't deserve due process, really? Is that who we are? Is that why we were gifted the Statue of Liberty? Think about it. We were gifted the Statue of Liberty because we are a country of immigrants. But yet, we shut the door behind us to say no more. We got to check our values. We've got to take a look at what is the trauma that we are still trying to work out on a society level. Yep, there are going to be setbacks, but how do we turn those setbacks into a setup for something better? How do we re-choose and say, no, we're not going to have a reality show so that people of color can compete to try to get citizenship in the United States? That's creating a minstrel show. That's creating an opportunity for the affluent to separate people and watch them fight among themselves for a little taste of the bread. a little bit of an opportunity. Is that who we are? Is that what we allow to happen on our watch? Or does it stop with us? You know, every time something that we know in our spirit, in our heart, is not for the highest and best of all mankind, we got to do something. We got to speak up. We got to pray. We got to write a letter. We got to go on a march. We got to go say something and do something. If not, the trauma will not end. And so we've got to be willing to take our blinders off and take a deep look at how our world got to be the way that it is. You're strong enough, you're smart enough, you're clever enough, and you're loved enough to do that work. You are supported. And when somebody acts out in your life, think for a moment, what is it that they are endeavoring to work out with that? So much trauma is there to be healed, but we're ready to heal it. Sometimes things have to fall apart in order to fall together as they are intended. And so we know that we are capable. I've forgiven my mom. I understand now psychologically why she acted out in some of the ways that she did. And I know that she turned it around once she knew why she was doing what she did. We have to carry out that same understanding with some other folks. We have to not only incarcerate and hold someone accountable for their errors and thinking, but we simultaneously have to delve a little deeper to understand how they came to do that in the first place. Is it because we missed something? You know, one of the things that I remember watching two people have a conversation this past week, you know, in the grocery store, two men were talking, and, you know, one of them said, I'm so happy with what happens to these immigrants because we are getting these drug cartels out of our country. And the other guy turned to him and looked and said, you know, there's an easier way to do that. And he goes, what would that be? He goes, stop buying drugs, stop using them, heal that, and then there'd be no market for it. Didn't want to hear that because we want to be angry at the other rather than taking accountability for how that situation ever even unfolded. Whew, that's a lot. It's a lot. It's a heavy day. But here's what I want you to know. We are coming up upon a holiday that used to be called Decoration Day. Now it's called Memorial Day. And it was a day to remember all of those that have gone before us, especially all of those veterans that gave their life for a belief system. They gave everything, put it all on the table for what they were taught was important. They were the ally, the advocate, and the co-conspirator for a constitution, for a way of living that was open to all. Let's lift them up this Memorial Day. Let's lift up everybody in our own ancestry who fought for a better life for the next generation, and be willing to take a look Did they err along the way? Were they given bad information? Were bad choices made? Were they enslavers or were they abolitionists? We don't care. We just want to know. We want to know what's in the DNA so that we can work it out for ourselves and our generation now. That is what it is that we are called to do today. I know it would be a lot easier to come to church and have somebody say, Reverend Jack, just give me a nice little affirmation that I can put up on my refrigerator and look at it this week and go, I am blessed all the time. Whew, I can feel good about myself and move on in my life. This is not a time like that. This is a time when we got to do the deep work. This is the time when we got to go a little deeper in our understanding and discerning what is ours to do in a time like this. It may be uncomfortable, but that's okay. We can move through that uncomfort. How? By looking around the room right now. Look around the room that you're in right now. See a fellow traveler. See someone that is an ally to join you in the fight against injustice. You're not alone in this. You have come to this time well equipped to do whatever Spirit has in mind for you to do at a time like this. That's the message that I want to leave you with today. That is the message that I hope stirs within you the week ahead, and that you notice what you notice in life, and then notice what is yours to do with it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you all. Blessings, blessings, blessings. That's my message for today. And now, some special music.
From a distance, the world looks blue and green, and the snow-capped mountains white. From a distance, the ocean meets the stream, and the eagle takes flight. From a distance, there is harmony, and it goes through the land. It's the voice of hope. It's the voice of peace. It's the voice of every man. From a distance, we all have enough, and no one is in need. There are no guns, no bombs, and no disease, and no hungry mouths to feed. From a distance, we are instruments marching in the common band, playing songs of hope, playing songs of peace. They are songs of every man. God is watching us. God is watching us. God is watching us from a distance. God is watching us. God is watching us. God is watching us from a distance. From a distance, you look like my friend, even though we're at war. Oh, and from a distance, I just cannot comprehend what all this fighting's for. From a distance, there is harmony, and it echoes through the land. And it's the hopes of us, it's the love of us, it's the heart of every man. It's the hope of us, it's the love of us, it's the song for every man. Oh, and God is watching us. God is watching us. God is watching us from a distance. God is watching us. God is watching us. God is watching us from a distance.
Well, thank you for that. And with that, I would like to say, um, we are praying right now, and I ask that everybody hold Steve Kinshu in your prayers. He's having surgery tomorrow. He's having heart surgery tomorrow. So we want to raise him up, send him thoughts of love and healing, and just bless him knowing that he is resting in the embrace of God's loving care and that he is safe. He is loved. And so we just want to leave it right there. But anybody who's interested, he's welcome to go visit him. He's right across the street at the Kauai Delta. And so I just wanted to make mention of that. Steve Kinshu? Yes. So please, like I said, hold him in your prayers, sending healing thoughts of love for him and his family. Thank you. So back to our program. We'll get back to the regular. And so it's actually time for our conscious giving. And so I would like for our ushers to come forward this morning. So we have a prosperity prayer, and I'd like for everyone to please recite this with me. It is our 50-day prosperity prayer, which has been going on probably for 100 days, but that's okay. We keep it going. We keep being prosperous because this is the way it works for us. So today I expect every good thing to come to me, for I know that divine abundance is forever manifesting itself in my affairs. I am keeping my whole mind and thought and expectation open to new experiences, to happier events, and to a more complete self expression. Everything that belongs to spirit, I accept. Everything that partakes of the nature of divine reality, I claim as my own. I identify with success and I prosper in everything I do. As I give thanks for the good now flowing into my life, I gladly share that good with others. The more I give, the more I receive. I experience a deeper consciousness of peace and security, for I know that I am in the embrace of a warm, loving presence. My cup runneth over. I exist in limitless possibility. And so it is. Come forward. Over here, over here, over here. Closer, 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 closer. Okay. So I'm just going to bless these gifts that we've received and thank you all for your participation and your willingness to participate with us and support us. We accept these gifts knowing that they will go into the community and manifest only goodness, and we are grateful for it all. Thank you.
So thank you for coming together today. I hope something inspired you today, whether it was the music, the spoken word, the talk, or the community that you have surrounded yourself with. I just know there was something inside of all that spoke to your heart today. And I'm thankful for the opportunity of being with you. I hope that if something spoke to you today, that you share today's message with someone in your life. Somebody out there needs to hear this talk today. Somebody in your life needs to hear it. So post it on Facebook, find the link, copy it, and say, "This inspired me today at CSL Visalia." Share the YouTube link with somebody once you receive it. Somebody else needs to hear this message, and you are the one called to share it with them. So now, as we come together, I want you to know that there is one power and one God, and we are able, willing, and entitled to tap into that one power anytime we want to. That is the free will that we are born with, that we can tap into a power that is greater than ourselves, to activate that energy, to activate that goodwill, to know what is ours to be, do, and have at any given time in our life. We came to this life to be activists. We came to this life to be seekers of the truth. We came to this life to see, understand humanity. So I'm calling forth that in each and every one of us. We're ready. And I give thanks. I give thanks for the musicians. I give thanks for the vocalists. I give thanks for the spoken word and the DEI team that put it all together. I give thanks for the technical folks, James and everyone else that helped get our message out into the world. I say thank you. Thank you to everyone who had a hand in making today's message possible. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I know and accept that we are ready for the week ahead. We are ready for whatever unfolds this afternoon. And I know that we know that happiness is not a state of being, but happiness is the ability to find gratitude and something to be thankful for, even in the midst of chaos. And that is what is ours to teach. I give thanks for that understanding. And I release this prayer into the universe, knowing that it will come back to us tenfold. And so it is. And so as we gather, as we do, we know that peace is an inside job, and peace begins with me. Join us as we circle up for our closing song.
This is my joy.